Oke, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Rasya Amrul Parmana, and so today I will tell you about digital ethics, cyber wellness, and safe internet practice. So, for the introduction, in the digital era, the internet has become an integral part of daily life from learning and working to communicating. However, this convenience also brings various risks such as privacy violation, the spread of misinformation, cyberbullying, and cybercrime. Therefore, an understanding of digital ethics, cyber awareness, and safe internet practice is essential so that every individual can use technology ethically, safely, and responsibly. Because of the very significant role of the internet in daily life, every user must understand what is digital ethics, cyber wellness, and internet security. The digital ethics, it's about how to behave politely and responsibly in the online world. For the cyber wellness, it's about maintaining physical and mental health while using technology, while the internet security, it's about protecting yourself from risks such as fraud and data leaks. So for the first time, you must and you have to know what is digital literacy. Digital literacy is a person's ability to access, understand, evaluate, use, create, and share information through digital media in an effective, critical, ethical, safe, and responsible manner. Digital literacy encompasses not only the ability to operate device or application, but also the ability to think critically when sorting through information, protect personal data, and interact positively in the digital space. And also the digital literacy, of course, have goals. The goals of digital literacy is to improve the ability to use technology effectively to support learning, work communication, and the completion of various daily activities, and also help the public think critically when receiving information so they can distinguish between accurate information, hoax, and misleading content. And also to foster ethics and responsibility in digital media use, such as respecting other privacy, maintaining proper etiquette in communication, and honoring copyright. Also improve digital security by understanding how to protect personal data use strong password, and also encourage the productive and creative use of technology so that it is used not only for entertainment but also for learning, innovating, collaborating, and developing one potential. So we will enter to the next topic. It's about digital ethics. Digital ethics refers to the moral principles that govern individuals' behavior when using technology and the internet. And for the key principle, it's about respect other privacy, be responsible for the information you share, respect copyright, be polite in digital communication, and also don't spread misinformation or hate speech. The example of digital ethics is set source when using image or articles, don't share other people's personal data without permission, don't spread false information or hoax, don't commit hate speech or speech hatred, respect other people's work, don't plagiarize, and also comment using polite language. Why this is digital ethic is so important? Because the digital ethic because it builds trust in the digital world, it reduces the spread of misinformation, protect individual rights, create a healthy online environment, and also support sustainable digital transformation. Next, we will talk about plagiarism and copyright. This is also still relevant about the digital ethics. Plagiarism is the act of taking or using someone else's work without giving clear acknowledgement or source, so that it appears as if it is one's own work. Meanwhile, copyright is a legal right that protects a person's works, such as writing, image, music, videos, and other digital works from unauthorized use. Example, like copying assignment from the internet without citing the source, using other people, image, or content without permission, and also quoting the writing without mentioning the original author. The impact is the plagiarism will violate academic ethics and honesty, can be subject to sanction both at school and legally, harms the original creator of the work. And how to avoid plagiarism with always include source or reference, and also use quotation marks when taking direct sentence, paragraphs, paraphrase in your own words, and also use work that license free or ask for permission first. Next, we will talk about cyber wellness. Cyber wellness refers to an individual well-being in using digital technology and the internet in a safe, healthy, balanced, and responsible manner. This concept focuses not only on safety while engaging in online activities, but also on mental, emotional, and social well-being, ensuring that technology use provides benefits without causing negative effects. Cyber wellness also encourage users to adopt positive digital habits such as managing screen time, protecting privacy and the security of personal data, communicating politely, and using digital media wisely. In this way, individuals can make the most of technology without compromising their health, social relationship, and also productivity. The goals of cyber wellness is to maintain mental and emotional well-being while using technology, promote safe and responsible internet use, prevent negative impacts such as cyberbullying, social media addiction, and online scams, protect privacy and personal data from cyber threats, and also create a positive, safe, and mutually respectful digital environment. So, we talk about the cyber wellness. It's relevant about the mental health and social media. Social media offer many benefits such as facilitating communication, expanding one's social circle, and serving as a platform for learning and sharing information. However, uncontrolled use can also affect a person's mental health. Therefore, maintaining cyber wellness means using social media wisely so that it continues to have a positive impact. So, how to maintain mental health on social media? By limit your daily social media use and also follow accounts that share positive and educational content. Avoid comparing yourself to others live on social media. Use privacy settings and block toxic accounts, and also make time for real world activities such as exercising, spending time with family, or pursuing hobbies. And also, this relevant to about screen time management. Screen time refers to the amount of time a person spends using digital devices such as smartphones, computer, or tablet. Excessive screen time can negatively affect both physical and mental health. So, common effect of excessive screen time is about a strain and fatigue, sleep disturbance, and also reduce physical activity. And how to manage the screen time? You can use set daily time limits and also take a regular break. Example like every 30 until 60 minutes, and avoid using device before bedtime, and also balance screen time with offline activities. And next about safe internet practice. Safe internet practice are a set of habits, action, and steps taken to use the internet safely, wisely, and responsibly. The goal is to protect the personal data, maintain privacy, and reduce the risk of cyber threats such as phishing, malware, identity theft, and online fraud. Adopting safe internet practice not only protects your device and digital account, but also helps create a safer online environment for all users. And the goal is to protect personal data and sensitive information, prevent cybercrime such as phishing, malware, and identity theft, safeguard privacy while using the internet, raise awareness of risks and threats in the digital world, and also promote safe ethical and responsible internet use. Example for the safe internet practice is about use strong unique password for each account, and enable two-factor authentication or 2FA as an additional layer of security. Don't share OTPs, pins, or password with anyone. Make sure the website you visit use HTTPS and come from trusted source. Avoid clicking on links or downloading file from unknown source. And also update your operating system and apps regularly to patch security vulnerabilities. Use a secure Wi-Fi network and always verify information before sharing it to prevent the spread of misinformation. Okay, about the strong password. A strong password is the first layer of the protection for online account. It helps prevent other people from accessing personal accounts without permission. Weak passwords such as birthday, names, phone number, or some simple words are easier to guess and can increase the risk of hacking. A strong password should be unique, difficult to guess, and different for each account. It is recommended to use a combination such as uppercase letter, lowercase letters, number, and also symbols. User should also avoid sharing password with others and should change password if they suspect suspicious activity. For the key point is use different password for different account. Avoid personal information in password, combine letters, number, and symbol. Don't share password with anyone, and also change password with when you need it. And next about two-factor authentication or 2FA. 2FA is a security method that adds a second layer of verification when logging into an account. In addition to entering a username and password, user must also provide another form identification, making it more difficult for unauthorized parties to access the account. So why this 2FA is so important? Because 2FA can add an extra layer of security to your account, and also it prevent unauthorized access even if someone else know your password, and also reduce the risk of hacking and identity theft, and they will protect your personal data and important information. Next, recognizing cyber threats. What is cyber threat? A cyber threat is any form of action or activity intend to steal data, damage system, disrupt service, or gain illegal profit through the internet. These threats can target individuals, organizations, or governments, so every internet user needs to understand how to recognize and avoid them. And the cyber threat have many types. For first one is phishing. Phishing a fraud. Phishing is a fraudulent attempt to impersonate a trusted party via email, text message, WhatsApp, or fake website. And also, its purpose is to steal username, password, OTPs, or credit card information. For the example, an email purporting to be from a bank that asks user to log in via a fake link. The second one is malware, malicious software that can damage system or steal user data. These types of malware includes virus, worms, trojans, spyware, and ransomware. For the example, like downloading an app from an official website that turns out to contain a virus. And the third one is identity theft, the misuse of personal data such as ID cards, phone numbers, or social media accounts to commit fraud or criminal acts. Example, like personal data is used to open an online loan account without permission. Fourth is online scam, fraud committed via the internet such as bogus informants, scams, uh, fake giveaways, and also our fictitious online store. And the last one is cyberbullying. Bullying carried out through the digital media, such as insulting comments, threats, or the dissemination of personal information. The impact can lower self-confidence and disrupt mental health. So, that is about the topic that I tell you. So I have also the case study. The first case is about hoax spread on social media. So there is a case study. The case study is a post is circulating on Instagram claiming that on March 28, 2026, the Ministry of Communication and Digital Affairs, we call Kemkondigi, will shut down several social media platform including TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. The post also includes a caption explaining the veracity of the video and citing several sources. But the fact is that claim is false. According to Minister of Communication and Digital Affairs Regulation number 9 of 2026, which serves as the implementing regulation for government regulation number 17 of 2025 on the governance of electronic system in child protection or PPTUNAS, the government has established the implementation path for child protection policies on digital platforms. The implementation phase will begin on March 28, 2026 with the deactivation of accounts belonging to children under the age of 16 on high-risk digital platform in accordance with applicable regulation. So my analysis about this case is there is a lack of public awareness because, in fact, not all social media platforms were shut down. Rather, restrictions were placed on children's social media account. Also, the viral effect that the more people share it, will the more it is perceived as true. And what the impact? The impact is social panic. Like people are anxious about losing access to communication, and many are acting hastily, like deleting account or backing up data. And also declining public trust. People are confused about which information is official and which is not. Trust in the government and the media may be undermined. So the next study it's about online scam. Online scam cases in Cambodia involving money have trapped and torture many Indonesian citizens. The scams involve offer of IT or admin jobs in Cambodia via social media with high salaries, like $1,000 until $2,000, requiring no special qualification. However, in reality, they are held captive and forced to work as scammer. And the other case is scam that asks for an OTP. The scam begins with a message that appears to be legitimate from an official institution, such as online marketplace, claiming there is an issue with your account or order, and then requesting OTP for verification. In reality, the OTP is sent because the scammer is attempting to access your account. As soon as you provide it, they immediately take over your account, whether it's for banking, in e-commerce, or social media. Within minutes, money is gone. Accounts are taken over or used to scam others. And my analysis about this case is the ease of accepting information without knowing its source for certain, and also a lack of digital security knowledge. What the impact? The impact is the theft of personal data and identity. It's stolen data such as ID cards, self-service with ID cards, and biometric data can be used for illegal online loans or other crimes, physical safety threats, and also significant financial losses. So next case study, it's about cyberbullying. Alleged cyberbullying of YouTuber Charles in 2026. The daughter of YouTuber the Papa Rock TV is alleged to have been the victim of bullying and sexual harassment at her school, where photos of her were secretly taken, turned into stickers on messaging app, and shared along with inappropriate comments. The other case is it's like harassment case at the University of Indonesia in April 2026 after going viral on social media. A harassment case involving more than a dozen people within the Faculty of Law at the University of Indonesia sparked outrage among students and forced the perpetrators to issue a public apology. This incident constituted cyberbullying and indirect sexual harassment, in which a group of people discuss and uh, belittle an individual in a digital space. The analysis, the lack of education regarding harassment, which remain widespread in Indonesia, even in the digital space, and also the limited availability of safe space, particularly for women. The impact it will impact the mental health issue like anxiety or depression, decrease self-confidence, and it can even lead to fatal outcomes such as suicide. So, how to be a responsible digital user? For the digital citizenship, you can safety and security, like use strong unique password, update antivirus software, and set social media profile to provide private, private, and also ethical behavior and respect. Treat others with kindness and avoid cyberbullying. Respect intellectual property by giving credit or and not plagiarizing. Information literacy, verify information before sharing it and be skeptical of sensational headline. Digital footprint management, be aware that your online actions are permanent and curate a positive, authentic online presence. And health and balance, about set limits on screen time to maintain a healthy balance within digital and real world life. And also the actionable tips. You can think before you post, respect privacy, report, don't react, and also practice good digital hygiene. So about the conclusion, in the digital age, the ability to use technology is determined not only by technical skills, but also by an awareness of digital ethics, maintaining cyber wellness, and practicing safe internet habits. These three aspects are interrelated in creating a safe, healthy, and responsible digital environment. As internet user, we need to use technology wisely, respect the privacy and rights of others, maintain our mental well-being while using social media, and protect our personal data from various cyber threats. In this way, digital literacy can equip us to use technology positively, productively, and responsibly in our daily life. And the last, I have a quote like it's called like think before you click, respect before you post, and stay safe every time you go online. Thank you. That's all from me about the digital ethics. So, thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.